Howdy, and welcome to the channel. And in this video, we're gonna be working on swapping out some really old tires from our riding lawnmower to these brand new ones that we picked up off of Amazon. Let's get into it. So the basic process of doing something like this is extremely simple. First, we're actually going to pull the tire off of the tractor. Then we're going to dismount the old tire after we pull the Schrader valve out, pull it off. Then we're gonna mount the new tire, put the Schrader valve back in, inflate it, and remount it onto the tractor. It sounds easy, but actually getting the old tire off can be difficult at times. And more important, getting some of these tractor tires back on can be extremely difficult. I'm gonna show you a couple of tricks along the way that will hopefully make your encounter doing this work a little bit easier. So we've had these tires on our Ariens riding lawnmower ever since we first purchased it. These are the HALBERD herringbone tires that we're specifically putting on here. These are the same size tires that came on this lawnmower to begin with. The reason that we're upgrading is because there's so much understeer with this particular riding lawnmower that we're not able to actually get it to turn whenever we're trying to get it to turn. So we decided to go with something with a little bit more of an aggressive tread pattern. These are 4-ply tires and they'll fit anything that's 15 by 6.00-6. Now there are certain times whenever you're doing different project work where you can truly skimp on tools. Whenever it comes to this kind of thing, I actually really don't recommend skimping on your tire irons. I have these that I picked up from Harbor Freight. I made the mistake of getting some inexpensive ones. Now, if I'm doing my trailer tires, I actually do pull these out and they work for that. But anything that I'm more precise with, like my motorcycle wheels or tractor wheels or something like that, especially with the smaller ones, I really recommend getting a kit like this. Now I've got some additional stuff in here from Motion Pro, but this is from Nico. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you've probably seen these on here before. These are just some really nice spoons that Nico sells. It actually has 2 to a kit, but I ended up purchasing a 3rd one because very frequently you'll find out, especially if you're working on motorcycle tires, you need that 3rd spoon. Now these are the bearing buddies. These work insanely good on motorcycles. Anything that has a spoke, you can actually hook this on the spoke and it will stop your bead from rolling off or rolling on, depending on what you're trying to do. Really love these things. They are well worth the money. So much so that I have 2 of them, and it makes putting on off-road tires on our dirt bikes very, very simple. So I really love those. Now the other thing that this comes with, which I don't actually use, is these protectors. Now these you put on the outside of the rim and they're supposed to protect your rim. If you're doing the spoon right, you really shouldn't cause much damage to the rim. But if it's your first time doing tires, these will actually help you protect your rim. So I do recommend doing these. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to spend the money on a kit like this, is you can buy just the spoons and then you can use something like a real old-fashioned milk carton, the plastic ones, and that will actually protect quite a bit of your rim. We're just going to be using the Nico spoons for this project. So I'm going to show you the cheap man or the poor man's way to break a bead off of a wheel. You can actually do this with all sorts of different stuff. All you're going to do is take a little piece of wood like this and you're going to put it on the tire itself. Don't put it on the rim. If you put it on the rim, it's not going to work. And you want a board that's not very wide, but is gonna be able to push down on here. Then you're gonna have another item. In this case, we're gonna be using a 2x4. We're gonna put it up underneath our trailer hitch here. And this is gonna be our focal point, our leverage point right here. And then we're going to be using the truck's weight to actually have as the point where we're gonna rotate against. I'm gonna put my foot on this side and our goal is just to push this board down, push the wheel off the bead of the rim. And it is that simple to break a bead. That one's completely broken all the way around. If you still have a portion that's on this side, spin the wheel around and push it down on this side. Now we need to look over here. We can see our bead is fully seated the way it's supposed to be on there. So we're gonna pop this one off as well. And if you have it on the rim, let me show you. You're just gonna end up pushing and it's gonna lift up your vehicle. You can see here, I'm big time lifting my vehicle up and the wheel's not doing anything. So you need to move your board back a little bit to make sure that your rim is not being caught by the piece of wood. And you can immediately see your tire starting to deflect, and you can push it down. Once again, make sure that the bead is removed all the way around. The other thing that you need to have with a project like this is some type of what we affectionately call as tire snot. Basically, it's some type of lubricant that you can put around the physical tire itself and put around the bead of the rim so it'll actually slip past. Dawn dishwashing detergent works extremely well. Now this is that new formula that has just a couple of drops of Dawn, some alcohol, and purified water in it. So this works very, very well. You don't want to get a lot of water inside your tire. You don't want to get a lot of water onto the rim itself that is going to permanently stay in there. So whenever you're reinstalling the tire, be smart. Don't put copious amounts on it. Be smart with the amount you put on it. Otherwise, you may have water in there that can actually promote rust on your rim. So keep that in mind. If you can afford the real tire snot or tire lubricant as it's professionally known, then that is actually the better way of doing it, because those don't have other chemicals in it that can cause problems with the rubber itself. So all we're gonna do for now is we're gonna push the tire down a little bit, and then we're gonna take our Dawn and we're just gonna spray it around. Now all we're gonna do is we're gonna push our tire down a little bit. We're gonna take our spoon with the cup facing like this on the rim. So you're actually going to have the smooth side towards the rim. You're gonna go down a little bit and push it until you catch the physical rubber with the spoon itself. And that's gonna allow you to hook and pull it up. Now we know we have this one in position, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take our second spoon and we're gonna slide it in here. We're gonna put the one, get it going, and then we're going to come over and grab the other. And as you can tell, we're already very, very close. And with something like this, we might even be able to pull it up. Just hold on the spoons, and there we go. So our first sidewall is done. What you need to do is you need to spray on here so that it can rub and slide out appropriately. If you just squirt it right here on this side, then it serves no purpose whatsoever. So we're gonna wash, rinse, repeat. It's the same process of hooking our spoon down in and flipping it around and getting it to pop up and off. Sometimes they're gonna be easier, sometimes they're gonna be more difficult. Just depends on the wheel and how the wheel itself actually has fared through its life. I had some Dunlop Q3s on my sports bike, and it didn't matter how old those little boogers were, they were just a nightmare to get off. So you can see the spoon sticking out here on the other side. And some people get creative and they try to come over here and spoon it like this. You can actually do it this way. So we now have our wheel cleaned off. One of the things that we want to do at this point is we want to look at our valve stem. Is it still in good condition, or does it need to be replaced? This one looks good, no problems at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it. If for some reason this one does turn out bad, I have a kit where I can yank this one out and do a swap after the fact. Now the big thing with this part is make sure your tire rotation is the correct direction. Now for us, I want to have it where if the tractor is positioned like this is the direction I want the wheels to go. Well, I know that I want my valve stem on the outside, so that means I need to mount this in this direction. We're gonna take our Dawn dishwashing detergent and we're going to squirt the outside, and since we have access, I am going to squirt the inside of the rubber, and you can actually see it. I have the entire inside of that done. And sometimes you can get the wheel to go in on one side on its own. Sometimes you can't. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to. So we're just going to hold it, grab a spoon, and we're just going to pull the rubber up around. So that side's done. Now we're gonna have to do the other side. And for this, we're gonna flip our spoon the other way so we can actually take and pry up against it. I'm gonna go ahead and prep another spoon over here, and then I'm gonna put my third final spoon underneath here. And sometimes you might not need your third spoon. We're just getting it ready in case we need it. That one slipped out, so we're definitely gonna need this spoon. The smaller the bite you take, the easier it will be to do the work. And at some point, it should slip all the way on. just like that. Our next job is to go ahead and put in our Schrader valve, and then we're gonna try to air it up, and it's probably not gonna air itself up because we have so much of a gap between the bead and the actual tire itself. Now, as you saw, our tire did not want to air up. As I mentioned, the gap here is just too great. It's pretty common to have that issue. Now, primarily like motorcycle tires and stuff like that, you're actually going to have an issue with the bead setting. With this one, we're having an issue with there just being too much of a gap and the bead doesn't want to set at all. Now, you can do the fire trick. It can actually cause damage and you can actually hurt yourself. So you do what you want to do. If you want to do the fire trick, do the fire trick. What I recommend is just grabbing a tie down strap like this, and we're going to wrap it around the diameter of the tire and hook it to itself. We want the line to be in the middle of our tire. So make sure that you go around and you have your tie down strap in the middle, and then you're just going to pull it just slightly snug, not really tight. And you're going to slowly just start winching it down. And as you do this, it is going to take and squish around the entire diameter equally, and that's going to actually cause the tire to bow out here and will give you pressure up against the sides. Some tires do it better than others. Some tires don't want to do it at all, but this is typically the trick I like to use the most, and then you can finagle things and usually get it to work much better. Now you can see we have a bead starting to form here, one that is going to want to slide in here. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and undo my cinch strap now. Do not pump this thing all the way up. If you pump it all the way up, you can actually cause severe damage with the cinch strap breaking. Now, if you noticed, we were able to get one side to fully seat, but this one didn't want to seat all the way. And I went up to the maximum rating of the tire, which was 30. I'm going to go ahead and air it back up. So I sprayed a little bit more lube on there, which allowed it to actually do what it needed to do. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this back on the lawnmower after I get a cap on here. Let's go ahead and get this back on the lawnmower. So first impressions of the tires, it is wet out. It did rain today, so we're sitting at about 99% humidity and it feels like 105 out here right now. But the tires actually did really good. It was a significant improvement compared to the original tires that were on there. I like the way that they feel. It wasn't actually bouncy. That was one concern that I had, but it wasn't bouncy at all. I like the way that they turn. I had somebody else actually ride it as well, and even he was impressed with it, especially with how wet it was. It definitely turned sharper than it did before. So the improvement I was looking for, this was a success, and I'm really happy about that. One tool I wanted to go over, I used this slime tool to remove and to connect the Schrader valves. This thing is amazing. If you mess with Schrader valves, I recommend getting something like this. I like the slime one. It was inexpensive. It torques it down to the correct setting. It actually clicks whenever it gets there. I've talked about this tool before and I really like it. And if you do any tire work, I highly recommend you picking one of these up. And of course, I will have the link in the description below for both the slime tool, Schrader valve, but I'm also going to have it down there for the Nico. Right now, they're not affiliate links. They're just direct links to the tools so that you can purchase them if you need to. Just a friendly reminder, we are looking to get to 5,000 subscribers. And when we do, we're going to pick one of our lucky US subscribers to receive this tool creeper from Harbor Freight. They stopped making these. They don't make them anymore whatsoever. You can't pick them up at any of the stores, and we love ours. So we wanted to extend that offer out to our viewers. We wanted to do it with the whole world. Unfortunately, we can't right now. So be sure to subscribe because it's just to my subscribers that they're going to be entered for this. Thank you very much for coming along this really fun day that I've had. Thank you for putting up with me. This is typical Texas. It's hot outside, it's humid, and this is what happens. But it doesn't stop us from making content for you all because we love hearing the great comments out there because of the content that we create, like this one. Wow, that was a great comment. Thank you very much for leaving that, and thank you for watching.